The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Danny Laurel. Now here are the biggest stories on the economic and corporate front. Finance Chief Ben Diokno has officially introduced the proposed Maharlika Investment Fund to global CEOs at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Diokno made the announcement on the launching of the country's first ever sovereign wealth fund during a breakfast interaction attended by President Bongbong Marcos and business leaders. Diokno touted the proposed measure, which was already approved by the House of Representatives, as a tool to diversify the country's financial portfolio. He said the Maharlika Fund will support the government's economic and social transformation strategies to boost employment and to reduce poverty. In a high-level dialogue session in Davos, President Marcos says infrastructure remains to be the pinnacle of his administration's vision for the Philippines to become more prosperous by 2040. Now, speaking to other world and business leaders, Marcos says his administration continues to prioritize connectivity, whether it be by land, sea, or digital. The president also touts the creation of policies that could further boost the country's infrastructure.
The recent amendments to our Build, Operate, Transfer law address concerns regarding the financial viability and bankability of public-private partnerships, and the concerns on potential delays that might impede implementation.
Marcos notes that his administration recognizes the crucial role of the private sector in infrastructure development. He says the Philippine government continues to aim to raise the confidence of investors.
We aim to raise the confidence of investors, especially those that will benefit the social sectors of health, education, and agriculture. For this reason, we have taken a proactive approach. We have created a private sector advisory council, some members who are here with us, and we have formulated many strategies so that we can position the Philippines properly for the development and evolution of the new global economy.
Now, the chief of the International Monetary Fund praises the Philippines for being, quote, an exceptionally well-performing country despite economic challenges. This was reported by Presidential Communications Secretary Cheloy Garafil following President Marcos's meeting with IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum. Garafil says Marcos and Georgieva discussed issues affecting the world economy as well as challenges that the Philippines is facing, like food supply problems. Marcos raised the need to go back to basics to address these challenges. Georgieva, meanwhile, expressed willingness to help the Philippines push for economic policies to sustain growth.
But again, congratulations for the good performance.
Thank you very much indeed. We'll keep going.
Keep going. Yes.
With your help and your advice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, food security was also at the center of President Marcos's opening remarks at the panel discussion for the nutrition security session of the WEF.
Food security remains at the forefront of our national agenda, anchored on our vision for a prosperous, resilient, and secure Philippines by the year 2040. Are the overreaching goals of this administration that are to build an inclusive society when no one is hungry, where Filipinos live long and healthy lives, and where they are provided with an environment built upon trust and security.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Danny Laurel. The Philippine delegation at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland has secured investment commitments from at least 9 companies. Meanwhile, President Bongbong Marcos revealed his administration's foreign policy in a meeting with the president of the WEF, Gerard de la Peña, with this report.
It was quite a hectic third day for the Philippine delegation at the World Economic Forum in Davos. In a dialogue with WEF President Broge Brand, President Bongbong Marcos revealed how his foreign policy would be like for the rest of his term. He earlier mentioned that countries like the Philippines should not be made to take sides, a principle that also applies to the whole of his foreign policy.
So when asked which side are you on, I said, well, I don't work for Beijing. I don't work for Washington, D.C. I work for the Philippines. So I'm on the side of the Philippines. And that really translates into a very simple statement of foreign policy, which is I promote the national interest.
Meanwhile, cabinet members sat down with various business leaders for potential investments. The economic team reported that they were able to get commitments from at least 9 companies. These include U.S. banking giant Morgan Stanley, which plans to set up an office in the Philippines.
Ang purpose talaga nito is to sell the country. Nasaan tayo, ganun. Kasi kaya very timely itong pag-participate natin sa Davos conference nito. We have a very nice story to tell, yung anong sitwasyon natin after the pandemic.
While more engagements are expected, the talks are merely exploratory. Members of the Philippine delegation were able to speak to a lot of government and business leaders at the World Economic Forum here in Davos, Switzerland. But they admit that it would take time before ordinary Filipinos can feel the effects and the benefits of these talks. Cabinet members said potential investors are considering certain factors. These include trainability of workforce and sustainability.
The main important feature of the Philippines that's attracting investment is the fact that we have a young, vibrant, and trainable workforce with median age of 23 plus. I'm happy about that confirmation.
Gusto nilang makita yung sustainability, predictability, transparency, ano yung long-term natin, long-term game plan. Kasi kapag mag-invest sila ng highway, 50 years yun, they wanted to ensure that our economy, can stand a long-term growth for 50 years or more.
On Friday, Marcos Jr. will face the Filipino community in Zurich before flying back to Manila. Reporting from Davos, Switzerland, for News 5, Gerard de la Peña, we are One News.
New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern announces she will be stepping down from next month. Ardern said she will no longer seek re-election once her term expires on February 7th. The Labour leader said that she, quote, no longer has enough in the tank to do the job of being Prime Minister Justice. Ardern believes her party will win the upcoming polls and said that a vote to elect the next Labour leader would be held on Sunday, January 22nd. Amid fears of an economic downturn, Microsoft joins the number of tech firms implementing massive layoffs. Microsoft says it plans to remove 10,000 jobs by the third quarter. The company says it is exercising caution as the United States braces for a recession. Microsoft also explains that it is grappling with a slump in the personal computer market after the pandemic boom fizzled out. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky delivered a virtual address at the World Economic Forum where he said the world is fighting against Russian President Vladimir Putin. Let's listen in.
Ladies and gentlemen, 3 years ago was my first time at the WEF. It was the time when the world was fighting COVID-19. It fought and won. Now the world is fighting against Putin. In 3 years, we will be discussing new challenges and threats in Davos. What will this mean? It will mean we will definitely overcome the current threat. The history repeats itself. At first, the world either fails to notice or underestimates a threat. then it unites to resist it, and then the world wins. Every time, the same outcome. The world overcame Nazism, the apartheid, pandemics, the indifference to climate changes, financial crisis, and the Kremlin strain. The world will overcome again. This is how much can be said in a matter of minutes. This is how much can be understood in a matter of minutes. The world will overcome again. The time is high to make it happen faster. Slava Ukraini!
For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World Online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account now. That's at www.signalplay.com, and stream One News Live anytime, anywhere. I'm Dani Laurel. Join us again at 2 p.m. We are One News, all sides, all the time.